Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. There's a lot of differences going on today, so bear with me. But I am super excited to welcome on my guest today. Let me see if I can get her in the room. Here she goes. Here goes my sis Jen. Hey, girl.
Hi,
Hey.
Mia.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing great. You look good. Get on,
I'm so
honey.
happy to be back in my house.
Oh, you in your house. Welcome home. That's awesome. Welcome home. Hey, Deborah. So glad to see you in tonight. I'm ready. All out. Well, you are looking good, Jen. I just had to take you in for a second.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
wish I was on a computer, but unfortunately, not only did one laptop not work, neither did the second. So we're gonna just make it do what it do. At least we have the phone.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're
Hey,
restored.
Virginia. Excellent. Excellent. Well, come on into the room. Good evening, everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Mia James, and I'm being joined by my lovely co-hostess, Jen S. That's what she goes by, of Black on the Platform. And Jen, definitely, when you have a moment, drop your link so that people can get your. She has a wonderful free tool to help you with consumer consciousness, right, and how to support Black-owned businesses. So definitely. Here we go. Let's see if I can. If it's gonna allow me to be great.
Oh, I see. I need to be in the chat. That's what happened last time. I didn't connect with the
There
chat.
we go. No worries, I got you. I was able to get it over. So definitely download that checklist, everyone. And we are so excited to have y'all on tonight. Good evening and welcome in. So if you're joining us for the first time, go ahead and grab your books. So Jen has told me this in the past, and then I had a friend who is an attorney tell me to basically, she was like, Mia, you may want to be careful reading the book verbatim. Even though we have all heard Dr. Boyce say have book clubs and all of that with the book, right, Jen? We have heard him say this publicly.
Yes, yes.
She, as an attorney, she was like, Mia, look, be careful with the verbatim. She was like, you can discuss it, but I want to, have some, email him or something like that, or his team, which I will do
Yeah.
before we continue reading verbatim. But so tonight we'll do something a little different. We are on commandment number 4, which is on page 68. And I've highlighted some areas for us to talk about. So Jen and I will discuss, and we'll also look at your comments in the chat, and we'll do it like that tonight.
And I think, Mia, considering that this chapter is almost a quarter of the book, I think that was a good approach. And I'm not an attorney, but I recommended the same thing
Yep.
because of that same like issue. So I think you have a good approach this evening.
Well, thank you, because it's so funny when she sent it to me. I said, "Oh, my friend told me the same thing." So we're just, when a couple people tell you something, you better listen,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
means you have good friends.
Yes.
So just to start off, so if you have your book, turn to page 68. If you don't, that's okay. You can always go to my Instagram page, or reach out to me, and I'll send you a link to get the book. Because again, none of my laptops want to work, so you know, little technical difficulty. But you'll be able to join in a discussion no matter what. And so on commandment number 4 is create fertile economic soil for your family, right? And so right there, that just means you want to have a place, a economic system within your family that bears fruit. And he starts out with a statistic that, and this is from CNBC, so I can say this, I think. It says 80% of all Black owned businesses fail within the first 18 months. So that's a year and a half. And he says why. He says, there's lack of access to financing, lack of knowledge, lack of connections. But he says, above all of those things, one thing is bad economic soil. So, Jen, you're a business owner too. And what are your thoughts about why Black owned businesses are failing?
Well, I think he refers to it in the book as toxic soil. And
Mm.
so, if we think about that as a metaphor for our own businesses, we kind of can see how the people that we are circulating ourselves around, or not circulating, but who are around us, really make a difference. And so, if your community is people that are inspiring and positive, then that's good soil. But when you're dealing with people who are naysayers, as he calls it in the book, um, then you recognize that those are people who are kind of like pulling you down instead of elevating you. So I think part of the reason why we fail is because there's a lot of negativity around what we're trying to do. And sometimes people who are your family or friends don't see you in a new space, in a new capacity, and they don't have the vision that you have for yourself. And so they have limiting beliefs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they know you in a different way than as a business owner, or maybe, in that particular business. And I mean, for me too, when he talks about, as a black business owner, trying to get your family involved, you might have family. My business partner and I say people who are W-2 minded. And there's nothing wrong with having a job, right? Because sometimes your W-2 is your, what I call, your biggest investor when you first start your business, right? Because you need that capital. But, not but, I would say, and a lot of times your family just, they're not wired that way. And it's because it's not easy running a business. So you definitely got to have a certain mindset. But he talks about too, um, if you were having a baby, right? I'm not a parent, but I know you're a parent, Jen. The family rallies around that new baby, right? But when, we start businesses and things of that nature, everyone's not jumping on board to buy products or share your links on social media or even just give you words of encouragement or referrals. And so, what do you think we could do about that?
Well, I think we need to take an active approach, and not just allow it to be a statistic. And so, one of the ways that I have tried to combat that statistic is creating a family business meeting where we meet monthly. I just started it last month, and we'll meet again in actually next week, August 1st. And we're going to have an opportunity to share what our business plans are, what we're doing within the family, and really just focus on wealth building. So, not just business development, but also, are you saving money? Do you have a savings account? Do you have a 401k, a 403b? um, and those type of questions that some of the younger generation aren't really thinking about, and we have wisdom from our generation that we can impart. So having a family meeting is one approach that I've taken on, and it's also recommended in the book, like Sunday dinner or something, I think Dr. Boyce calls it.
Yep. And what Jen is referring to is on page 97. We're probably not going to get there tonight, but we're definitely going to discuss that at length because, one thing that helped me, like, to start with my retirement, I had a mentor when I first started my career, and she was like, okay, you have to do this 403B. It was in addition to my pension, right? And she's like, you have to save money in this. And I was like, oh, okay. But if she had never said anything, because it was optional, but she's retired now, and basically she was telling me how her and her husband have more money than they even know what to do with because they both had pensions, and they contributed to their um, the optional programs that they had access to. And she was just like, we just chilling, like. And the thing is, it's like, not only do we need people to do those things or to tell us those things, but we also have to take action, because it's one thing for us to come here every week and we're talking about money from a feminine perspective, right? Being led by our hearts and wanting to give back. But if we don't take action on the information that we're receiving, we're still going to be in the same place. And so I'm thankful that she told me and that I did take action when I was in my 20s. Oh, and then Tashi, is that you? Help
Yes,
kind of
that's what
share.
I
That's
was just
Tashi.
gonna say, Tashi.
Hey, Tashi. Tashi want to be in a family meeting. I want to come to the family meeting too because my no shade if anybody in my family is watching, but my family ain't about these conversations, and it's very disheartening because to me, I'm like that person in my family, like, not that I'm not Jesus, that's not what I'm trying to say, but like in the Bible it talks about like when Jesus, they were like, basically nobody good comes out of Nazareth, and like even he wasn't accepted in his own hometown. And that's kind of how I feel in my family. Like they're like, oh, it's just Mia, like dismiss,
Right.
you know.
But I think that's the point that and Dorielle says she's here.
Hey,
Hello.
Dorian.
I think that's the point, is that the reason why I started my business in the first place, my why, was that I wanted to be the change that I saw in the world. And I'm trying to be a leader so that my children can follow and that I can create generational wealth for my family. But instead of looking outward, we have to look inward and see what example can we set. And so I was really nervous on my first family meeting. I met with my family. We had a Johnson Legacy Council where we met once a month for over a year. Actually, I was on the board, so twice, 3 times a month, I was meeting with them, and I didn't feel nervous. But when I was facilitating by myself, and I facilitate professional development, I'm always on. But when it came to my family, I felt nervous. I was really nervous, and so my cousins and my nieces and nephews, like people who showed up, really made me relax, and like my anxiety dropped because I recognized that maybe there weren't going to be 50 people there. There was actually 15 of us. So I was happy with the 15 who showed up, and I was able to have conversations that inspired others that were kind of on the fence about what they wanted to do with their business. So I felt really it felt really productive and powerful and meaningful. And instead of saying, well, my family's not going to support me or we're not going to support each other, we start to be the change that we seek. So,
Amen. That's really inspiring. It's so interesting, Jen, because Virginia and I were having this conversation earlier this afternoon about family support, right? And you know, I I think, well, others agree. I think I am a good example, and everyone's mindset necessarily may not be there, and so it's beautiful to hear, with your family, that they see your example, they admire it, and they want to follow it. Because I know, you know, sometimes the nerdy family member is just like, oh, whatever, but everyone wants to follow the cool family member. But what what is that actually? Where is that leading you? So I
and
do want
just on that point, I when I graduated from UCLA, go Bruins, me
to
and I
go
are
Bruins.
Bruins. So when I graduated, I had a cousin who is there like a little feedback? Do I need to No, okay.
No, you're good.
Okay. I was an inspiration to one of my cousins who went back to school after going to my graduation. So I think sometimes we undervalue our role in other people's lives.
Hmm.
And so just recognizing that it's like a drop in a pond. It's a ripple effect that we create when we do make those actions. So I just wanted to share that.
That's awesome. That's so beautiful. And so, what about y'all in the chat? Let us know. So, first of all, Tashi is saying how beautiful you look.
Uh, you
Yes.
know what? See, Tashi, Mia thought the same thing. She was like, "This is not the Jen I meet with on Sundays. Hold on, who's this?" Because I come with no makeup, with my hair in a mess, with my PJs on. So I actually have a blouse on today and some makeup. So
Well,
thank you, ladies.
well, you look amazing. That's why I had to take you in, because you know what? A lot of times I'm all about being present and mindful. And I was just like, I just want to enjoy this Jen. And I love the Jen that doesn't have on makeup and is in PJs too. As
Thank
I
you.
don't have on makeup either right now. So, because it was just one of those days where I had to get up, go to physical therapy, and do what I had to do. So, we're in our feminine glory. You know,
Absolutely.
we just get to admire you today.
Oh, well, you look beautiful. I could not tell that you didn't have any makeup on. So you always look beautiful.
Thank you, girl. So, I would like everyone, if you can, to check out page 70. If you have the book, I'll read the high level recaps. Um, yep, it's almost your birthday,
It
Jen.
is. I'm so excited.
Next week.
Yes. Couple
Um,
of days.
so the first thing for us to create fertile economic soil is to give our family and friends that are business owners positive, encouraging words. Even if we don't necessarily agree with what they're doing or we don't understand what they're doing, because sometimes people have negative thoughts about something because they don't understand it, not because it's not a good idea. Number two is invest in the business if you can. And, he says it doesn't have to be money, it could be time, right? Like if you have a skill that can help that person's business, like one of my friends, like totally blessed me. Um, and I was just like, wow, like this is like so what I need right now. And I didn't ask, but she saw a need that I had and was like, oh, here, I'll help you out with that. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then the third thing is to encourage financial literacy and an ownership culture in the family. So that's what Jen is doing by holding her family meetings. Is anybody else in the chat doing any kind of family meetings, or maybe you're doing number 4, share, liking, and comment? So like you all are here today, right? And you're supporting my business, and that means the world to me. And so, if you know other people who could benefit from these conversations, invite them into the room or share the replay with them. Because sometimes, again, like Jesus, he wasn't accepted in his own hometown, but maybe one of his disciples could have witnessed, and then the person could receive what was being said. So sometimes people need to hear from somebody outside of their business. Ooh, okay. So Tashi said she started volunteering at a black-owned restaurant because of what Dr. Boyce recommended. That's dope.
I
Go.
love that, Tashi. Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You volunteered at a restaurant. I know they love you, girl.
I
Cause
love it.
yes,
And I wanted to say, Tashi, you should share that business with me so I can put it on my Black business directory, because I will be launching very soon. And oh, thank you, Deborah. I did see that Deborah made that comment, and I wanted to thank her. Um, I wanted to mention the fact that Dr. Boyce goes on in the next pages and talks about providing constructive criticism,
hmm,
because sometimes people, they, giving positive words, don't gaslight me, tell me the real, what you really think, and that way I can improve it. One of the things I've been working on is my logo, and how some people didn't know what they're looking at. It's a little person standing on a platform, like a little black stick figure. My friend thought it was a microphone. Somebody else was like, I didn't know what I was looking at. So that constructive criticism told me, okay, I need to go back to the drawing tables and look at my logo and see what I can do to improve it. So positive, yes, but truthful, constructive, and meaningful comments are helpful.
yes, that is. Oh my gosh, that means so much to a business owner. So thanks for pointing that out, Jen. Honestly, hence why I am evolving my friend group. I don't really feel like I've, maybe with the exception of a couple people, really gotten like honest feedback. Sorry, y'all, on different things, right? And you need to have people in your life that are willing to tell you the truth in a loving way in which you can grow and learn from it. So that's spot on right there. Um, Also, he says to buy their products at least once or twice if it's affordable, and recommend the product. So like Jen is creating Black on the platform, and she's about to launch. And so if you have a business and you want to be involved with Jen's business, I put her link in the show notes for today.
Oh,
So
great.
yep, so definitely send her your business information so she can highlight your business. And then Doriel says, I'm so gripped with the Sunday dinner family meal. Yes, like we like to eat. So we might as well combine the meeting with some dinner.
Absolutely. And I think that even if you can't be, like, mine isn't in person, mine was via Zoom. I think if you can't be in person, you can still get together and have those conversations. So it's so interesting that my business initiated from not initiated, but part of my why is also my family had a family business. We had the Johnson Cafe, and it's no longer, but that coming together, breaking bread and sharing laughter and tears and good memories is part of my reason why I want to highlight Black owned businesses now, is because I miss the Johnson Cafe and I miss being with my family. So yeah, family dinners need to come back. For
That's
sure.
dope. That is so dope that y'all had that. And one thing I realized with my trip is you got to find the family members that are aligned because um I went to go visit one of my cousins and we're all about that vacation life and you know I've approached kind of nuclear family members, so to speak, and they were like, yeah, like whatever. But my cousin was like, oh, what you think about going in on a vacation? And I was like, a vacation home. I said, yeah, let's talk about it. So that may be also like if your family is like mine, where not everyone is on that same page, look for other family members that you may not have necessarily thought of before and start building with them, right? It might be more distant relatives that are more like minded. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's see. So Jen already talked about constructive criticism. That's on page 72. And one thing to add to that, y'all, is taking calculated risk, right? Because I know a lot of people are risk averse. Anybody here like risk? Like, you just like so anytime I'm meeting with a client and I'm asking the client, are you like ultra conservative where your money is all under the mattress? Are you kind of in the middle where you have some money invested, but you do have, quite a bit of money in a regular savings account? Or are you like in Vegas, like put it all on black? Like what is your risk tolerance, right? And so most people are somewhere in the middle, but then you have some people they're like, oh, I am not risk averse, so I want to put it all on black. So I want to know from y'all in the chat, what kind of risk taker are you? Let me know.
I think it
Hopefully.
changes too as we get older. Like when I was young, you couldn't stop me from doing risk taking activities. But now that I'm older and I'm a mom and I don't take the same risks and I'm less of a risk taker. Let's
it,
see.
yeah, and risk is interesting because risk can be not only with money, right, but it could be with different things, like adventure or well, I call
Travel- Travels, all that. That's adventure.
yep,
So
exactly.
I'm
Any,
very cautious. Yeah, I don't see anyone responding yet. I was just looking.
y'all thinking about what kind of risk person you are? It's no judgment. Don't worry. We after the live is over, we can't see the chat anymore. So
Yeah.
don't worry.
And me also, when I was reading this chapter in preparation for our book club today, I noticed that sometimes we need to take things less seriously
Yeah.
and be more lighthearted about it. I was very like nervous about my first family meeting, and then I'm like, stop tripping, just relax, and even when I'm building things for my business, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, it has to be just so. And I'm like, stop being a perfectionist. Get it out there, and don't everything doesn't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be so serious. Just being a little more free about it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Because sometimes in that freedom, that leaves space for creativity, right? And more ideas to spark and evolve. So, yeah, absolutely.
Tasha
Now,
says she's in the middle depending on the risk.
yep, I feel that, Tashi. Yep, it really does depend. And Virginia says it does evolve over time. Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
So this is so funny to me because so looking at page 73, the topic is this is why I don't support black owned businesses. Anybody in here ever went to a business um that you didn't have this experience like this lady had? bad customer service, poor quality, legit, right? You like, one time I asked somebody, I'm like, no, no, I didn't ask them. Somebody I was with, they were like, "Do you need to go home?" They asked, because it's like, why are you giving me an attitude? I didn't pick your job for you.
And I know we mentioned this the last time I was on with you, but I definitely think that we need to give each other more grace. Um, you know, be more kind-hearted. We never know what somebody else is going through. And being even if they have a funky attitude and, it reminds me of that song, and the food just ain't that good. And you kind of have to put on a be polite to the person who's being rude. Be the bigger person. And it's hard to do in the moment, but I think we need to be more supportive of one another, even if that means um like my daughter was just talking about this because I'm really trying to honor what put in the checklist of all the different ways to support different Black owned businesses. And she wanted to go to a different place that wasn't Black owned. And she was like, "But mom, I really don't like how they do what they do." And I said,
Mhm.
"Well, sometimes we have to just be a little supportive, even if it's not our first choice, to be able to support each other." So it's hard, it's easier said than done is my point.
Yeah, it is. It is. And Tashi like made a great connection because she was the solution. You know how there's that quote that says be the change you want to see?
Yep,
She
that's
saw an
it.
issue at a restaurant that she wasn't going to return to, and she said, "You know what? Let me go volunteer and see if I can change this environment." So she was the thermostat. Okay, you the thermostat. You set the temperature. I love that, Tashi.
Right. And that's so positive, and I love hearing that because rather than stop being, being a patron of the establishment, you went and you helped, and that's what we need in our communities to support each other. So,
That's community right there. Cause I know what I would do. Okay, here's the thing. And my friend always used to say this. She was like, "Yeah, I'm a Black owned business, but I'm white run." I was like, "No, you you are still a Black owned business, obviously Black run, but you have standards of excellence. It doesn't mean that you that is white run.
right.
Nothing wrong with that, because my grandfather was white, and so I mean, I feel like I'm like Dr. Boyce now, like I don't dislike white people.
Right. Right.
But basically what I was telling her was that you run your business with a certain standard of excellence. And what I like to do, if there's a situation, if I can meet the owner, I'll be like, "Hey, this was what happened. I don't want the person to get in trouble or anything like that, but maybe they need a little training, or something." I usually phrase it differently. I can't think of
I'm
the
like,
exact.
yeah, out here getting people fired.
No, I will actually say, like, I don't want to
No,
compromise
I'm messing with you.
job, but like,
Right.
because the thing is, a lot of times as younger people, if you notice the pattern, a lot of times as younger people, and what I chalk that up to is that they haven't been trained. There's not that level. They haven't been level set to be like, this is the standard. This is how we behave. If we're having a bad day, we leave it at home, or what have you. Because like, if you go to Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A, listen, y'all know Chick-fil-A is on point. Same service every single time. And it is a bunch of young people.
Right.
So to me, that just proves that the customer service can be improved, but the business owner has to be intentional about training their staff, helping them be more emotionally intelligent, and just setting that standard.
And I think we have to be open to feedback. We
Yeah,
want to always be willing to improve ourselves and find ways to do that. So if people are giving suggestions that are constructive, then that helps the business in overall. So,
exactly. And I agree with you, Dorielle. We have to there's young Black people working at, Chick-fil-A and other places, and their behavior is just fine. So it's really about that business owner setting the tone. This is the standard that we're going to operate in our business, so that everyone has a great experience. I mean, I it's so funny because I was working with someone and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you are so professional." And I'm like, well, thank. I was like, thank you, of course. And I was like, well, I mean, like, I kind of wanted to know what what did they expect? You know what I mean? Because I mean, it's a nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at Tashi's comment about her going to the smoothie shop and the young lady had long braids that fell into the cooler when she bent over. I had to say something. I had something similar. We I don't remember where I ordered from, but we ordered food and when it arrived, it was literally an eyelash, like one of those false eyelashes in my meal. And I was like, "Oh my," like it so things that are hygiene issues, that's definitely something to speak on for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So, listen, I get so into this. So I know we are at time. So what I did want to leave y'all with, we'll pick back up on page 77 next week, but couple things I wanted to leave y'all with. If when you read the book, definitely check out pages 70 through 71 and decide, what is something that you can do this week to support a family or friend's business. Even if you share a social media post, like shout out to Dorielle for having me on her awesome podcast. Thank you, Dorielle, for living it out. Thank you to Jen for always supporting and reminding everyone about the lives. I mean, that's what we got to do for each other. And so I've been promoting Jen's business. I actually just sent her link out today.
You. Thank you.
So figure out one thing you can do to support a family or friend's business. And then I'll leave with this comment. So Doriel says employees have to have buy-in for the establishment so that company virtues. I got to post this because people need to see this. There we go. So that company virtues are oozing. Clients need to believe that employees are invested in the whole business. Is not if not, it's just a check. Yep, spot on. Spot on. You definitely have to give your employees ownership in what they do. So, with that, Jen, you have any closing words before we head on over to Powernomics training?
Well, just be on the lookout for blackontheplatform.com to share with me any Black owned businesses that you would like to see featured on the platform. And I appreciate you, Mia, for sharing this space with me and allowing me to be a guest. So thank you for having me. And yeah, just glad to be here.
My pleasure. Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing, Jen, and we look forward to the launch of Black on the Platform. We'll feature it here and on our channel. And if anyone wants to come read with me next week, please let me know. Because we don't have a reader for next week, so I need somebody to discuss with. So hit me up, and we will get you on here so we can read together. So thank you so much, Jen. See you in Powernomics training.
All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.